I didn't open the door when he started pounding on it. Not at first. I wanted him to hear his own echo, loud, desperate, pathetic, bouncing off the houses around us. Half the neighborhood had already spilled out onto their porches. Lights flicked on, curtains moved. His voice cracked through the night like a man demanding his life back. But it wasn't his life anymore, not after what he'd done, not after what I'd learned to do in return. And as I stood behind the door, steady as stone, I realized something simple. I wasn't the one falling apart. I remember when he used to look at me like I was the only thing in the room worth noticing. Back when we were both broke, building dreams out of late dinners and shared blankets. Back when he used to reach for my hand without thinking. Back when love felt like safety, not strategy. He wasn't always cruel. Cruelty came later, slowly, like rust. It started with late nights. Work stuff, he'd say, kissing my cheek, smelling like deodorant sprayed over guilt. His phone became an extension of his hand. Hidden screens, sudden laughs he couldn't explain. And then one night, without warning, he announced it. As a couple, he said, pretending this was mutual, we're opening our marriage. So this isn't betrayal, it's evolution. Evolution. The word tasted like metal. I said nothing. He took my silence as permission. Within a week, he was gone. Not late from work gone. Gone. 6 weeks of vanishing into someone else's bed, someone else's life, someone else's arms. He didn't call. He didn't ask. He didn't check. And I didn't chase. The truth always leaks. First it was her perfume on a shirt he forgot to hide. Then receipts. Dinner for two, hotel rooms, flowers purchased with our shared card. Then his coworker's smug little post online, a not-so-subtle photo of a man's hand on her thigh. I zoomed in. His wedding band gave him away. I didn't scream. I didn't break anything. I simply whispered to myself, "All right, if this is the game, then I'll learn the rules." And I did. The day after he left for a work trip I knew he wasn't on, I hired a lawyer. Not a cheap one, the kind who looks at broken women and sees possibility. While my husband played pretend single with his coworker, I pulled our financial records, his secret transfers, his hidden spending. Every betrayal leaves a footprint. I froze the joint accounts, filed for legal separation, shifted the house, which was in my name originally, back entirely to me, not out of spite, out of preparation. Then I changed the locks, and for the final touch, the softest blade in the set, I documented everything. Screenshots, dates, transactions, photos, his mistress's own bragging posts. By the time he returned, my revenge wasn't emotional. It was administrative. 6 weeks later, he stomped up the driveway, red-faced, drunk on indignation. He shouted my name like a warning. "Open the damn door!" He paced. He kicked the step. He yelled about betrayal. Mine, not his. Lights clicked on all down the street. People gathered. Neighbors whispered. I opened the door finally. Slowly, calmly. And when he saw the man standing behind me, tall, composed, wearing my house key, his face collapsed. It wasn't a lover. I didn't replace him with romance. I replaced him with authority. My lawyer stepped forward, holding a folder thick with consequences. "Mr. Hale," he said, voice sharp as a gavel, "you've been served." The color drained from my husband's face. He tried to push past him, but I blocked the doorway with a single step. "This is my house now," I said softly. "You opened the marriage. I just closed the door." He looked at the neighbors watching, at the documents exposing his spending, his affair, his weeks-long disappearance. His unraveling happened in real time. "You can't do this," he hissed. I tilted my head, but I already did. He left with nothing that night. Not his pride, not his narrative, not even his suitcase, which, legally, I didn't have to hand over until morning. I stood in the doorway long after he'd gone. Not triumphant, not broken, just free. People talk about heartbreak like it's a collapse, but mine wasn't. Mine was an awakening, quiet, precise, intentional. And as the neighborhood lights slowly went out, I whispered the truth he never saw coming. You didn't lose me. You just taught me how to win without you.